Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. We're back again with some more industrial development. Hello Victor, welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome. Hello Lime, welcome, and hello RG, welcome to the stream. And hello Mickey, welcome to the stream. Hello everybody. How's everyone's day going today? Everyone been having a good day? My day has gone okay. As usual, it was fairly uneventful. Ooh, 2 tests? What were they on? How'd they go? Okay, let's go ahead and switch you guys over to the game. Oh, yep, I've done it once again. I need to take off of here. So yeah, we're going to be doing some more Industria again today. Actually, we'll start off just having full screen. Okay, that's weird, but there we go. So yeah, I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing today, but I do have a rough idea. So as usual though, we will briefly go through everything that is currently in the mod so that anyone you know, that's not too familiar can be a little bit more caught up with where we're at. Oh, and yes, let's turn on my camera. Thank you for reminding me, Lime. So I will turn my camera on. Does it work? I see a whole lot of nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, it just took, you know, good old 5 seconds to turn on. So yeah, we're going to be doing some Industria. What we have so far is pretty basic stuff, really. We have alloy furnace, we have a crusher, we have thermal generators, we have combustion generators, we have an electric furnace, we have cables, we have wind turbines, we have a drill, and we have the pump jack, and we have the upgrade station, which I can't see. I guess we don't have it down here. And we also have batteries and a motor. So that's basically everything. It's a little more kind of complicated than that, but we're not going to be going into all of those things today, since I've done that in previous streams. Instead, we're going to be working on something completely new today, and it's actually going to be possibly quite complicated. We'll have to see. And of course, Steam has done the lovely thing that Steam does and doesn't use the Windows notification system. So I have to actually turn that off differently to everything else. Let's quickly do that so we don't have a bajillion Steam notifications. notification throughout the whole thing. And of course, Steam also does the lovely thing where you can't just turn off all notifications. You have to turn off each one individually. Gotta love Steam, hey? Turn them all off. My god, there are so... I actually don't think those are the ones I want. They're really... Oh, here we go. So I will turn... There we go. That's Steam notifications off. Can you make a tutorial on mix-ins, at least the basics? I did plan a while ago to make a whole kind of mini series on mix-ins, but I never got around to it. I do want to do a tutorial on mix-ins. I think it's very important that there is one. It's just kind of a lot of work because mix-ins are more than just kind of surface level things. They go a little more in depth than that. I might at some point when I get the time, but right now, unfortunately, tutorials can't really be a priority for me. So we'll see. But eventually, yes, I do plan to do a tutorial on mix-ins at some point. But anyways, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on a distillation tower. Or specifically a fractional distillation tower, and there kind of is a difference because you know, one uses heat and the other one just kind of doesn't. But we're going to be making that today, and that's going to be a multi-block, so we get to do some multi-block action, which I know everyone loves to see. So I guess we're just going to get started with it. And I don't really know how to do this, so it's going to be a little bit different than my previous multi-blocks, because this is going to actually be built as like a separate block. Like you will actually construct it block by block rather than it just building itself when you place it. So let's go into the block in it, and we're going to want a controller, and then we're also going to have like a stack block that will be used. So we're going to go some kind of thing like this, and we'll go fractional distillation controller block. That is a lovely, very long name, but hey, there you go. That's how it be. And we'll just create a new class. That nice. And usually I would extend multi-block controller block, but I'm not actually going to do that because that's just kind of inconvenient. Instead, I'm just going to extend block, and then I will implement what is it, entity block or block entity? It's block entity provider, isn't it? There we go. You guys may have to forgive me initially because I'm going to be a bit rusty. I haven't done modding in a long time, like a few weeks, so I'm going to be a bit rusty. So you will have to bear with me initially. When I start to get the hang of it, all should be good, but it's going to take me a moment. So we're just basically going to do the normal stuff here. There's not going to be anything too special. Does this do the if check for me? It does. That's great. We're also going to want the basic stuff. So we're going to want the use method. We're going to want the... I don't think it's removed. Is it replaced? We're going to want that. We're also going to want... What else? Well, it's going to need state, so we're going to want the rotate method. We're going to want the mirror method. We're going to want the properties method, that one. And we're going to want the is place the one I'm thinking of? I don't think placed is the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of get placement state, that. So we're going to want all of those. Let's first of all just do the facing. So we'll go horizontal. Oh no, what is it? Direction. Nope. Direction. It's not that anymore, is it? It's an enum property of direction. I forgot they did that. Is equal to... Is it just properties? I think. Yes. I'm somewhat impressed that I actually remembered that. We need to set the default state to be that. Lovely. We're gonna do this. So if world is client, not client, and that, yes. And I think this needs to be the other one. I forgot, to be honest. That's server, apparently. Good to know. Okay. We're gonna need this as well, so I'm just gonna copy paste that. There we go. Now, we're not actually gonna have any kind of inventory for this. So actually, this is not going to be used. The only thing we will do here, though, is spawn particles. So I will actually leave it for now. We don't need to do any kind of comparator stuff. So that's great. Here we're just going to have a to-do get fluid and spawn particle. Pretty simple thing is going to happen there. Rotate. We can actually use... I don't think it's this. It is state.rotate rotation. Is that right? I'm not confident that's correct. Yeah, that's not correct. Go. And this is going to be that, presumably. Yes. Append properties, pretty simple. We just add the facing. And then in here, we just return this, but it needs to be the horizontal facing. Lovely. All is going well thus far. Let's create the block entity real quick so we can get rid of this horrible error. And we're also going to want a extended screen handler factory, I think. Lovely. Boom, boom, boom. And the constructor. And we'll go block entity, type in it, and hopefully Copilot can autofill that. Yes, it can, but not that. Get rid of that. Okay. Let's create the thing in here as well. Hopefully it can do it for me. It can. Good, good. That's that done. And that's fine. Let's also call this blockend. A better name. Okay. So that is all good. Let's just quickly do these things as well. So this dot pause. Going to want the text, so we'll create that real quick. So public static final text title is industria.container title fractional distillation roller. Lovely. Oops. There we go. And then also this will need to be the fractional distillation roller. Green handler. Wow, what a name. We're also maybe going to want a property delegate, but we'll see. We'll see about that. Okay. So we're making moves. Let's close that. We don't need that. Make sure this is solved. It is. Okay, we're also going to register another block as well, which is going to be, yeah, the actual like tower block that will be used to kind of create the tower. This one I'm not going to use extending the furnace. I'm just going to extend iron block. In fact, we're going to do that here too, because I don't want the lit property. So we're just going to do that. Unfortunately, we are going to need a custom class as well, which will be quite annoying, but it is what it is. So we'll create that. And we're just going to extend block. And it is, I think, maybe going to need a block entity. Yes, unfortunately, it is going to need a block entity. So we are going to have to actually, oh my god, I cannot type today. We are going to have to do that. That one, and then also the constructor. Okay, we're going to once again need the facing. Oh, oops, not that. Property of direction. Facing is equal properties. Got horizontal face. Lovely. That we're also going to want end properties. We're going to want rotate. We're going to want mirror, and we're going to want the placement state. Hopefully it can't. I was hoping it would be able to just spur it from here, but apparently not. Actually do this. In fact, I don't know why I didn't think about that, but yes, we can just do that. Yes, this is indeed quite a long class name, but hey, it is what it is. There isn't really a way to get around that thing. Is this going to need to tick? Well, we have to think. Possibly. Because the way that everything works in Fabric is everything is a push-based, not a pull-based system. So we are actually going to have to push fluids like out of it rather than the pipes being able to pull fluids. So it is actually going to need to tick, unfortunately, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. Is this registered? Let's get it registered, please. Thank you. Okay. And let's create the thing in here. Nice. And we're going to need to create this as well. that. I realize I have now just actually created the block in the wrong pack. So let's fix that. Going to extend block entity and implement tickable block entity, and we're not actually going to need a screen handler on this because it's just going to basically use that from the controller. So one thing this will have is it will have a private block pos, which will refer to the controller pos. That's how that's going to work. So we will just add the tick method. And we'll go block entity type init. And we're going to grab the hour. Okay. So that's that. We can close that. We can kind of close this. One thing I do want to do is I want to override the method that does placement, so this method. And I'm going to say if it's of this or it's of the controller. Which I assume... Can I not do this? Oh, right, yeah, that's not... There we go. And so what I should really just do is say block state, that, and that. There we go. And then also I think there is the survive method. I don't know what that's called in Fabric though. Isn't it like neighbor something or may or is? I'm not sure. What we can do is go into like flower block something. Not here, plant block. Go. And plant on top. There's can place at, but I thought there was another method as well. Is there not? Possibly this, yes. Get state for neighbor update. I think this is correct. So what I can do is here. Basically do that, but we're going to make this actually readable. That. Yes, that's fine. I'll just plonk these on a new line. There you go. Nice. Okay. Fine, that's fine. And that's yeah, this is all fine. All good. We are also going to need the shapes, but we'll do that in a... That's not too important. The controller, I think we're done with the controller, at least for now. Yeah. So. We are going to count ticks in here. In the actual tower. So we're going to say... we're going to have a private int ticks is equal to 0. Let's have in here if this.world is null or this.world.isClient, we're just going to return. We're going to say this.ticks plus plus if how do we want to do this? This.ticks. Do this actually, we can make this a little bit simpler. If this.ticks is equal 0, because plus plus, it happens after the comparison, right? So that's fine. Then we can find the controller position. So this dot controller pos, create a method to do this. Private block pos search for controller. And how high do we want to allow for this? I'm just gonna off the top of my head, I don't remember how many stages there are. I think it's 7. Could be misremembering. So refinery gas, petrol, naphtha, kerosene, diesel, lubricating oil, fuel oil, residue, right? There is 8. I was actually off by 1. I think because I forgot about the refinery gas. So there's 8 anyways. So we'll go down. There's less than 8. We'll actually start at 1 and go less than or equal to 8. So if world.get pos is instance of fractional controller block entity. Sure. What do you mean? What do you mean, why? Nothing jump scary about this. Is equals search for controller. Okay. If it doesn't find the controller, what should we do? Sure, yes, we'll do that. That's fine. Okay. What the hell is this? No, don't do that. So what we do need to do though, this is kind of correct, so we do need to somehow tell the controller that this tower exists now. So what we should do is grab that block entity. So actually we can do that here. That's fine. All we have to do is say block entity dot add tower, basically. So what this will have in here is a private final list of block pos towers, or well, really it doesn't need that, I guess. But we'll do that, and that means we don't have to reconstruct block position. Fine. Bit weird, but it's fine. So when we're doing add tower, let's do a public void add tower block pos. We need to check first of all if it contains it. Sure. Make this return a boolean then. If it contains it, we'll return false. We're also going to check that the pos is actually above the controller, so we need to check that the... Yes, we need to do that too. That's true. We also need to check though that this pos dot get x yes, and then we also need to check that the pos y is less than. What is happening? So today we are working on fractional distillation. So I don't know if I can show this. Basically this. So the crude oil goes in, you heat it up, and kind of depending on the temperature, so kind of further up you go, basically, you get different outputs. That's basically how it works. So that's the plan. So that's kind of what we're doing. And I have done this before. I did this originally in Turkey chemistry, and it wasn't that bad. Oh. We can return this, right? What does it add return? True. Sure. Sure. We'll do that just to collapse it a little bit. I could collapse both of these into a single if statement, but I'm not going to... Well, I could do that. Sure. Fine. We'll do this. And then all I will do is just move these down to be kind of separately evaluated. There you go. Okay. We don't need to do anything in here yet. We need to say, actually, if not add a tower, then we're just going to break the block again. No, we don't need to do that. If it can't add the tower, then it just needs to return null. Because if it returns null, then it's just going to break the block. But that's fine. All is chill. So if we are here, what do we want to do? Okay, one thing I do need to do though, actually, is I need to extend updatable block entity. I think. Checking there isn't something higher than that that I created and forgot about. I don't think so. So we will extend that on both of them because there's no reason to not. Why are you not creating a util class for this multi-block? It seems very useful. Well, this isn't really a multi-block, to be honest. I mean, it is, but like they're functionally independent, so there isn't really any point. I mean, I could, but it's like more work than what it benefits in reality. Because I'm not doing anything complicated here. Like all it's doing basically is it looks, when it's placed, it looks to see if there's a controller below it. If there isn't, then it just breaks the block. If there is, then it just gets the block entity and adds the position to a list. That's it. There's nothing complicated here. So it would be more work abstracting this than it would just keeping it how it is. So I'm not going to bother, at least not for the foreseeable future. Maybe in the future we'll see. But yeah, it's fine for now. Okay. Now, what I do need to do is just override our save method, which is read and write. MBT contains roller pod, block pods not from long. Isn't there a block pods from MBT? No, or is it MBT utils, MBT helper? From block pods? No, 2 block pods. Wait. Yes, 2 block pods. Oh, but that returns an optional. That's kind of annoying. Well, I can just convert it to null. So we can do this and this. And we can say or else null. I think that's how that works. Is that correct? Oh no, that's the wrong way around. So from lock pause. What is this music? Death? I've never heard that. Oh. Am I being an idiot? Maybe I'll just keep it how it was before. It works. So I will just... There you go. So that's that. And then we also need to do the ticks. Because otherwise that's going to... what I should say though, one very important thing actually, is if this.ticks is equal, or I should say really, if it's greater than like 100, well, no, I guess we might as well just let it go bigger than that. So we'll say if it's greater than max value -1, then ticks is equal 1, right? That's fine. And we'll do that. Yeah. And the reason is that just means that it's never going to loop around and then hit 0 again. That would potentially cause an issue. I mean, it shouldn't cause an issue, but it could cause an issue. So we don't want it to do that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. What's going on here? Duplicate class. How? Are the brackets wrong somewhere? Yes, this is being closed here because of that. I will actually just keep these brackets there. That's easier to deal with. Okay, great. Can I make this any better? Apparently not. Sure, that's fine then. There is an error here because we need the screen handler. Let's go ahead and do that. Sends screen handler. Is that right? This isn't generic, is it? Nope. Okay. So we're going to do that. I still, once again, I at some point need to implement a quick move method, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Got context, player, and then also the controller, and also the tower block as well. I don't think actually it lets you do that, does it? No. I'm wondering if I made a method to fix that. I feel like I did. Maybe not. Okay, well, the only way to fix that is to just basically have an OR statement. There we go. Okay, well, let's create the things in here. So we're going to want the fractional distillation controller block entity. Here's the block entity. We're going to want the screen handler context, which is going to be the context. And we're also probably going to want a property delegate later on, but for now it's fine. That's fine too. Let's get rid of that though. And this is just going to be screen handler context.create block entity.world and the pos. That's not correct. Thank you, Copilot. And we're also going to want the client constructor as well. So let's make that. That'll be the int sync ID player entity player, and then also the block pos payload. That's just going to call this, passing in sync ID, the player, and then player dot get world, get block entity at payload dot pos, and then we need to pass that like that. Okay, good. Next thing to do is to add the player inventory slots. There we go. That should be fine. For now, we're not going to have an inventory of our own, so that's fine. That should be good for now. Let's come into our screen handler init. And we'll put that in here. Yes, it doesn't like this though, because what's wrong with that? Oh, you know why? Because I think you actually pass in a player inventory, don't you? If I remember correctly. Because I remember having to do this whole shenanigan. Oh, it doesn't like that, huh? Yeah, that should just be this. There you go, that fixes that as well. That's good. Okay, we're making progress. Let's just quickly create a get block entity method so that we can grab that from our screen, because we will probably need that. Okay. Let's do the reading and writing in here as well. So we're going to want read NBT. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do writing of NBT in the tower. So I need to do as well. Yes, that, and then that. Okay, great. We're also going to want the... Well... Oh, actually, that's a good point. We actually also need to override, not this, the other thing. No, I'm sure I had a different class that implemented this. Am I crazy? Yes, this thing, syncable tickable block entity. That is a thing that I created. So syncable tickable block entity, and the reason is because first of all this, but also we now have on tick instead of tick. Now, yeah, that does that, so that's fine. Meaning we also need the sinkable storages. Did it create that? It did. For now, that's just empty. That is fine. We're also going to want the update packet, which will return what's it called? The block entity update. That one. Lovely. We're also going to want the initial chunk data, which is going to say we'll actually do MBT compound. MBT is equal to super. Then we're going to write the MBT. Then we're going to return the MBT. And then finally, we're going to want the other one, which is I don't remember what the other one is called. Is there another one, or am I going crazy? Nope, I'm just going crazy. There isn't another one. Yep, I am just going crazy. Lovely. I thought there was another one, but maybe I'm remembering forge times, not fabric times. So I don't actually think there is another one, which is good. Okay, fantastic. So did I do writing? I did writing, right? Yes, I did. We also need to do that in here then. So let's go and read the MBT first of all. So this.towers.clear. What? What? No, that's so stupid. What the fuck? No, this is so weird. Why would it do this? Although, maybe this isn't a terrible idea. So, actually, what I could do... no, I'll just... Well... I'm thinking, do I save the block positions of the towers, or do I just save, like, how high up they are? Or do I just save a size and then iterate, create them? Maybe that's a better option, actually. So, if I just say int number of hours and then basically do that, yeah. Not this though, so this would actually just be this.pos.x this.pos.y plus I. This needs to be, yes, that. And then Z. Sure, that should work. And then for write NVT, basically going to do the opposite. So we're just going to put that in there. That should be good. Just say here the usual thing. So, clients, then we're going to return. What does this do? That's cringe. Don't do that. No. Not doing that. Okay, we're also going to want those update methods in here as well. So we're going to want our update packet. So block entity update packet. And then also the initial chunk data. That. Lovely. Not that. Don't do that. No, stop doing that. We just want to write MBT. Lovely. All good. That should be everything, I believe, to at least get something working here. So what I will do is I will actually say south, and we're just going to print the tower position. So we're going to say controller at and actually, you know what, we'll replace this with a logging statement. So industrial.logger.debug, and that means that we can that, which is at least a little bit cleaner than what we had before. This should be good. The only thing we need to do now is create the screen class. So we're going to go to the code here, not here, here, and then we'll put in here, and we'll create our screen. So this will just extend handled screen of type fractional distillation handler. Lovely class names. Going to want that, and we're also going to the constructor. Lovely. What does the draw background method do? I'm not sure. Can we have a look? Oh, it just does this. Yes, we do need that. We'll do that in a second. We also need the render method. Okay, we're going to want this texture, so let's quickly go ahead and do that. So we're going to identifier texture is equal this. Textures GUI container fractional distillation. Is that correct? Textures GUI container. Yes, it is. Okay. Then we just need to go ahead and actually bind this in here. So we'll say handled screens register. Okay. That's good. Let's quickly do some data gen to get those sorted out. So go loot table first of all, because that's nice and simple. Fractional distillation controller, and then we also want the fractional tower. Then we'll do the lang as well. So we're gonna set translation build.add, lock in it fractional distillation controller, and then also the fractional distillation tower as well. And then we can't really do the model stuff right now because we're gonna have a custom for that. In fact, we could do the block stack. Sure, we can do the block stack. So basically, we're gonna want this, which I think I'd like to put actually above here. And then also the same for the tower as well. Go, and then we're also going to want the model, the item model. Yeah, this. Which I should probably put in the other order because that's weird. There we go. So that should be those done and dusted. Let's quickly go ahead and run that now because we do have some things to do beforehand. And primarily that is going to be opening the screen when we click on the hours. So let's go into block class of hour, and we'll go into on use, and we're going to say if world is not client, and we're going to be able to get the controller, not the controller, the tower, which will be a block entity. Then we're going to grab the position of the controller. So controller pos is equal a block entity. Yes, get controller pos, but we don't currently have that. So let's quickly gate that. Okay. Then we're going to say if it's not equal null, we don't actually need a null check. We just need to see if... Wait, do we need a null check? I guess we could have it. Dot. And world.get block entity at controller pos is instance of our controller. Then what we can go ahead and do is say basically controller dot get block, or can I get the state maybe? And just pass in on use, I think is my plan. And then if we just return the, we'll stick with the server success for now. I think this should work. Basically what it's going to do is if the tower is here, right? If the block entity for the tower is there, then we're going to get the controller position. Then we're going to get the block entity at the controller position, which if it is the controller, then we'll get the state from that controller, and we'll just call the use method, which in theory should call our use method here, and therefore should open the screen. Hypothetically. Yeah, the only problem is that this uses the hit with the block pop. So that's actually not going to work. So we're actually going to need to get the block and then call on you. And pass in the... that. Yeah. Like that? Why not? It's protected. Ah! Okay, well, in that case, we could just do it ourselves then. So we can just say player.open handled screen and pass in the controller. I didn't really want to do that, but I guess it will work, so we'll just stick with doing that for now. Hello, Kolbenek. Welcome to the stream. I may unban you. We can talk about it after the stream. I'm not doing anything right now, but we'll talk about it after the stream. I'll send you a DM. So I think we can test this now. We should quickly create a texture though for the GUI. Hopefully that's going to open. Oh. I'm just going to open this. It actually did just open. That's fine. Nice and good. Okay, this is basically all we're going to be dealing with right now. It looks shitty, but it's going to work for now. So fractional distillation control. And I hope that's gone in the right place. I think it has. It should have done. So shall we run the client? From where is the controller object you passed in? What do you mean? Here? The controller is this block entity that it gets here. Hopefully this will work. What do you guys think? Do you think it'll work first try? So basically what needs to happen is you should be able to place the controller down, and you should be able to place towers on top of the controller. Only on top of the controller, by the way. And it should only allow up to 8 of them as well. And it should print in chat how many it actually has as well. So first of all, we'll see if it actually exists or not. It does. That's a good start. So, okay, we have the controller. Let's see, first of all, does it have a facing? It does. Good. Okay, can I place the tower? I cannot place the tower. I'm right-clicking right now. I can't place it. You'll have to trust me. You'll have to trust me. I cannot place it. So if I place the controller and then try and place a tower, that works. Okay, the GUI works, and it works for the tower too. Okay. This is good. Okay, this is a great start, actually. So if I do this, 1, 2, this is going to be hard to do, actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it doesn't let you place a 9th one. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. Okay. Does this work? Okay, so I can actually click the ones all the way up here and that still works. That's good. Okay, now I'm more curious why this isn't happening, actually. So let's go into the controller block. And we're going to look at the method that creates the block entity. So that just instantiates at the pause. And this just creates a ticker. Does this tick? It does, however, it extends tickable block entity when it really should extend my other class. It really should extend the syncable tickable block entity. And then this should be on tick, and we should have the get syncable storages. Because otherwise that might not work as intended. So we'll give that a try. And hopefully it will work. It's also possible, quite possible actually, that debug isn't going to work and we might have to use info. I forget what the default kind of log levels are for Minecraft. I don't know if it defaults to info or warn, or if it defaults to debug. Not sure. So we'll have a look. I'm going to put it back to debug. That's what it's using right now. And we'll have a look. Okay, so it has actually saved all the positions and stuff. In that case, I think what's happening here is it's probably just needs to be info. Yeah, there you go. So it has 8 towers. Now, question. If I break this, do you think the entire thing will break? It does. Okay, that's good. That's fantastic. Oh, it doesn't work now, though. It doesn't like that. Oh, uh-oh. It's not like that. Okay. The reason is because... Why isn't it like that? Oh, because when you destroy it, it doesn't update it to know that it's been destroyed. So, what we need to do is in on state replaced in the actual, not in here though, in here. Okay, so in on state replaced, if it's an instance of a tower block entity, then what we're going to do is we're going to say, oh, there's an on removed in the block entity class? If there is, that would be great. There is not. Thank you for lying to me, Copilot. Okay, so what we want then... hi, no... Okay, I'm not reading that out loud. In 21.4, finally, delegate entity renderers build state classes? What? I'm not sure what you mean. But I know something happened with entity renderers in 1.21.4. I just have not tried it yet. At some point I will look into 1.21.4. But basically the consensus at the moment is don't update to 1.21.4. So take that as you will. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if it's not equal null and it's instance of the controller, then we're going to remove the tower. Like that. Lovely. That should fix our problem. I can't hot swap that because I don't have that method. Hello Iggly42, welcome to the stream. Okay, this should work. I'm pretty sure this should work. And if this works, we can move on to actually creating the fluid storages for each tower, which shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. I think this is actually going to be a lot easier than maybe you would think it will be. But we'll have to have a look. Probably going to have to also create some kind of heat system, which is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how we want to do that. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. We'll see. Okay, it still reckons it has 8 towers. That's not great. Holy lag. That's probably just because I broke it, though. Not necessarily because the code is just... It has 0. Now it has 1. Now it has 0. Good. Okay, good, actually. So that's 2. Let's go all the way up again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, I miscounted. If I do this, it goes down to 0. Nice, that's good. Okay, that's actually exactly what I want. That's good. Hello, nice to catch you live. Thanks for the work you put in. Pretty much finished my mod. Nice, bro, nice. Yeah, I do hope to bring the tutorials back at some point for anyone curious. As for when, I can't give you a when because I have way too much uni work at the moment to kind of even consider it. But at some point they will return. What the hell has happened here? Wait, where's the hotbar? What? Where's the hotbar, bro? Oh, it's just add player slots. There we go. But yeah, the tutorials will probably return. Honestly, they might not come back until April, which is probably the unfortunate reality. Because April is when I finish uni. I think I'm probably going to be too busy with uni work until April. We'll see. I hope that's not the case, but I think that's probably going to be the case in reality. You can still expect streams every so often. Like now. Because like this time of night, it's like I can't really record a video this time of night. And half the time I can not do uni work this time of night. So it's like perfect for streams, but not for anything else. Which is why streams might still happen every so often. But yeah, that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it at the moment. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to take things from these dev streams too. I hope they are at least of use to someone. Kind of seeing, I guess, how I do things maybe helps. I don't know. You guys tell me. But yeah, and they're a bit of fun as well, so they're good to do every now and again. Hello, Lone Wolf. Welcome to the stream. Are you completely finished then? I'm not finished with... What do you mean? Well, I'm not finished with anything, really. There's nothing that I'm finished with right now. I'm not finished with uni. I have until April for uni. And then... this mod is not finished at all. The tutorials are definitely not finished. I plan to go much further with the tutorials, but... uni work turned out to be a lot more than I expected this year, which makes sense. I mean, it's the final year, right? So makes sense, but just a thing to know. What are you studying? I am studying software engineering. So basically just computer science, but with more programming than hardware. Is how that works. But yeah. Anyways. I kind of wish I took that instead of comp sci. Logic was hell. Yeah, luckily I did not have to do any of the logic stuff, which is great. Yeah, I didn't have to do any logic. There wasn't even any math. It was just basic. I mean, I had to do cybersecurity instead, which was a bit boring. But it is what it is. So, okay, how are we going to do this? So we need to create... Let's come out of this. Let's close some things real quick. Let's close this. Let's close this. Let's close this. We're instead going to open the controller. Not this, though. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I opened that. I meant to open this. Okay. So what we need is we're going to need a fluid storage. So I'm going to create a private final. How am I going to do this actually? Oh, this might be harder than I think it is. You know what might be a better idea? Okay, what do you guys think is better? Do you think it's better if I store all the fluids in the controller, or I store all the fluids in each tank, right? So each tank has its own storage, or the controller has the storage for all the tanks? What do you think is a better way to do this? Also, no, wide. I'm not doing that. I'm obviously not doing that. We are not gonna do that. What do you guys think is the better approach? I think probably it's better to store the fluid in each block rather than all in the controller. That is what I'm thinking. So each tank holds the fluids, but you can still attach a pipe to the controller which has access to the tanks. Interesting. Well, okay, no, because even if it was stored in the controller, yeah, even if it was stored in the controller, you wouldn't be able to actually access the fluids from the controller. Because there can be up to 8 tanks, and you can't have 8 sides on a block. So, how would you determine which side is going to be for which tank? I don't think that would work. Filters, I guess, but what if you don't have a filter? What does it do? Does it just take a random one? I'm not sure that's necessarily the way to go. I think... Okay, the tower is already a block entity. So since the tower is already a block entity, I think I'm just going to store it in the tower. I think that makes sense. Otherwise, otherwise, the point of it being a block entity, it's not redundant because it does need to be a block entity, but also it would just be a bit of a pain, I think. Okay, the important thing to note, everyone, is let me just... this is how it works, right? So fundamentally, it happens at different levels, right? So getting refinery gas out of the bottom just doesn't make sense because it only comes out at the top. So we have to consider it like this. Like, if you were to get refinery gas out at the bottom, that just doesn't make sense. So I think it makes more sense for it to be stored in each tank. Yeah, because the input goes into the controller, right? So that already has an input, which is the crude oil. And then also there has to be a quote-unquote input for the heat as well. The thing somewhere beneath it that heats it up. So I think it makes much more sense to have the fluids in each of the tanks, right? Also, I don't know why the music has stopped. Stop doing. So, okay. In that case, I think this is going to be pretty easy. Hello, Romeo. Welcome to the stream. Heat the controller. Yes, you heat the controller. Kind of. I mean, you actually shouldn't really heat the controller. Like, if you look at the image, you actually have a separate heater. But I think it makes more sense because the controller is below it. I think it just makes more sense to heat the controller, because realistically you just wouldn't have a controller. But that's just the best way to achieve this kind of in a Minecraft-y style. So I think it makes sense to heat the controller, and then like the heat passes up basically. And then yeah, we'll kind of go from there. I don't know if maybe there's a way I can put this on the stream. 1 second, actually. I'm going to try something. Here we go, an image. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna try something. This should work if I'm... Okay. If I make it smaller, you're not actually going to be able to. Like if it's that small, you can't really... It kind of works. You just need the rough idea, right? So there you go. So now you can kind of see what I mean. So how do you plan to do the processing of the fluid? If you want to do it like each block will process as content, it must have to be the fluid storage in each block. That's a good point. Yeah, I think... Well, here's the thing. The controller is still going to have a reference to each tower, right? So the controller technically can still access that fluid, even if it can't output that fluid. Because, for example, in the UI, it's still going to show that fluid in each of the tower blocks, even though it can't output that fluid. So I think the processing is going to happen in the controller. The controller will then put the output into each of the towers, which can then output it from that block. I think that's the best way to do this. So each tower needs to have a fluid storage, basically. So we're going to have a wrapped fluid storage of I don't actually know what I usually use here. Probably yes, that single fluid storage. There we go. And we're going to have the tank go to a new wrapped fluid. What happens when you don't have enough towers? Well, basically what will happen is you won't be able to get the like lower level stuff. So you won't be able to get... How can I show you this? Because I can't really show you this. What's the best way for me to show you? Okay. Okay. So if you don't have enough towers, then you're not going to be able to get this lower level stuff, right? So what you'll end up with is you will have more residue, right? I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah, or have it so you can't get residue. I think, yeah, one of those ways is the best way to do it. So you'll always basically be able to get the refinery gas because you're always going to have one tower. No, actually, I'm not sure that's a good idea. This is a good point, and I haven't thought about this. What is this goofy R music? Very weird music. Maybe the lower stuff. No, you won't be able to get the lower stuff first because the lower it is, the higher the temperature, right? I mean, maybe it should just depend on the temperature. Or maybe the temperature should be limited, right? So I think you shouldn't be able to get the gas if it's not tall enough because it can't cool to the point it needs. That's a good point too. Because that is how this works, right? So basically as it goes up it cools, hence it turns into the different stuff, right? Okay, so you need the higher temperature, right? Okay. So in that case... Okay, so the best way to do this then is you have... Okay, so in that case, this doesn't use a heat system, right? There should be no heat system involved here. The way it should work in that case is you have a heat source below it. It doesn't matter what the heat source is necessarily. It maybe just takes longer to process depending on the heat source. So if it's hot, if it's a hotter heat source, then it will process faster. I think that's the best way to do this. And then that way, we'll never... So if you only have one tower, you'll only get residue. If you have two towers, you'll only get residue and fuel oil. 3, you'll have lubricate, etc., etc. So, okay, yeah, that's the way to do this then. Okay, I think we've got it. I think we've got it now. We've got it. So. Let's just quickly do get storage. Because that needs to be synced. There we go. Sure. Okay. So that means that this now has a tank. Let's create a method to get the tank, and then let's also create a method to single fluid storage, get fluid storage. Okay. And we're also going to make a method to get the single fluid storage. So get fluid provider, which is going to pass in the direction or direction side, really, which just returns that. So in reality, this should just return get fluid provider null. Okay. Now we know that will be fine. Okay. So basically, all of the work then is going to be done by the controller, right? So let's come into the controller then. Okay. we're first going to look for a heat source, right? If there's no heat source, then we're not going to do anything. And actually, we're going to need a storage in here as well. So we're going to want a wrapped fluid storage of a single fluid storage. And that's going to be for the input. So this is going to be the fluid storage. And we're going to say this dot fluid storage dot add tank, and we're going to add a new sinking fluid storage, and we're going to pass in this and then the capacity. So the capacity, I'm just going to say for now 10,000, because that's going to be, no, it's not like that, is it? It's fluid constants dot, I always forget they do it like this, so it's like that. That means it's 10 buckets. Okay. So. Let's create a method to get the tower size, just for simplicity. Public int tower get tower score. And I can replace that. Not that it's important, but just makes it a little bit more consistent. Okay, so we have to do two things here. So the first thing we need to do is check if there is any input. If there's no input, then we don't care, right? There's nothing to do if there's no input. So if this dot fluid storage dot okay, once again, let's create a method to actually get that fluid storage. We'll do that. We're also going to do fluid storage get fluid tank, and we're also going to do a public single fluid storage. Once again, I'm just going to make this not null. Get fluid what is it? Get fluid provider direction side, and then return this. Get tank 0. It's actually get storage 0. Is fluid storage a Minecraft or Forge thing? No, this is a thing that exists in Fabric. That is part of the Fabric API. Yeah, and then the wrapped fluid storage is a thing that I made. That's by me. Are you planning to add stuff like the coker and cracking unit, etc.? Maybe? I'm not sure how in depth I want to go with this whole system. I might. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure how in depth I want to go. Probably not, to be honest. But we will see. Can you make a JEI tutorial? Eventually, yes. It is kind of in my plans of things that I do want to do at some point. Once again, when that will be, I don't know. But yeah, at some point. How do I check if it's empty? Do I really have to check the amount? And I guess I could just check if it's blank, right? How does this actually, yeah, so that's if the fluid is empty. That's kind of not an ideal method. I would actually much rather say... Okay, let's do this actually. Single fluid storage. Tank. That means we don't have to do a bunch of lookup. If it's blank, or I'm going to say the tank dot amount is 0, Then I'm just going to return because we don't care. How much abstraction do you tend to use in your mods? Like, do you implement stuff on a case-by-case basis or try to generalize as much as possible? So typically the way that I do things is I write something and then I abstract it. So let me try and think of an example. Okay, for example, no, that's not a very good example. Let's think. What's a good example here? Okay, for example, when I was first doing fluid storages, the way I did it is I just had a map of direction to a single fluid storage, right? So all I had in here was, instead of this, I just had a private final map of direction to a single fluid storage. And this was, I think I called this a sided tank map. Yes, I think that's actually exactly what I called it. And then all I did was I just did this.sided tank map dot put, and I put, you know, a new single fluid storage, right? I did it like that, and that works, right? It's fine. And I could have done that throughout the whole mod, but I decided that instead I would much rather just create a class that kind of wraps that in a thing for me. So all I have to do is call add tank, and that kind of adds a tank, and then this also handles reading and writing for me. So I decided that I was probably going to reuse it, so I'll just abstract it if I can. Same thing with like multi-blocks. So initially I kind of just wrote a multi-block, and then I decided, okay, I think I can abstract this. So I slowly started to abstract the different things from the multi-block into here, because I ended up writing like this build multi-block method like 3 times, and I thought this is exactly the same every single time, so I'm just gonna abstract it into its own method in this interface. It's the same kind of thing. I guess that's how I decide whether I want to abstract it or not. Like here, there isn't really anything I could abstract. I could abstract the system of like requiring certain blocks above the block to function, but I feel like that's just overkill. I'm probably not going to use this system again, and if I do, it's niche enough that it's not worth abstracting it. I don't know, it's a case-by-case basis, really. It's hard to say when I will and when I won't abstract it. Yeah, it's just case by case. That's all I can say, really. Anyways, I hope that answers your question. That's not right. Don't do that. There we go. This should probably... it doesn't really matter. That's fine. Okay. The next thing you need to do is get the block below the controller and just see what it is, right? We need to know if it's a heat source or anything like that. Now, determining if it's a heat source is going to be a bit tricky because there is no, like, you know, heat in... It just doesn't exist. So the only way, at least for now, is going to be to hard code it, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. So I am going to... Okay, this is one of the things where I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to reuse this, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an abstracted system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into... How do I want to do this, actually? Probably... I will go in util. Sure. I'm just going to create a heat source registry. And I could put this in it. In fact, I will do that. Why don't you heat the controller with stuff like coal? I mean, I could. Yeah, I could. Or it could use energy to heat it up. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure that's necessarily a good way to do it. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't... we'll have to think about it. It's possible that is how I decide to do it. But for now, I'm just going to do it like this, because it's easier to do it like this. So this is going to be a map of block to a... How do I actually want to classify a heat source? That's actually a good question. Yeah, I mean, you could just have a heater. That is a good point. And I will probably want something similar in the future, won't I? You might be onto something here. How long have I been streaming for? That will determine whether or not I'm going to spend time creating a heater on. An hour 40. Okay. Okay, the question is, how do we want to do that, though? So, like... Okay, let's say we had a heater, right? Would it be that there's 3 different blocks? So would it be that there's a block that can take a fuel, like a furnace or something, and produce a heat? Or would it be that there is... Where was I going with that? I don't know. I just completely lost my own train of thought. So, like, there could be 3 different heat sources, right? There could be, like, a furnace that produces it from, like, coal or something. There could be, like, an electric one that produces it from energy. And there could be one that produces it from, like, being in lava or being on top of fire or something like that, right? It could be like that. Or could it be that there is just one heater block that can actually take any of those different things? Which do you guys think? So should it be one that can handle all 3? Or should it be 3 that can handle one individually? That's the question, I guess. Or is there a better way that I'm not thinking of? There might be. But first of all, let's get rid of this heat source registry, because I guess we're not going to do it this way. Well, we are still going to need some kind of heat source registry, I guess. I don't know how much more work it is if you do a heater with upgrades. I'm not sure about upgrades. The thing is, I don't want to do upgrades in the way that, like, Mechanism does upgrades, or, like, Thermal does upgrades. Like, just having an upgrade that, like, increases efficiency is not something I want in this mod. It needs to be a more, like, practical, somewhat, quote-unquote, realistic upgrade. Not obviously realistic, but like a more realistic kind of thing that you could feasibly do is kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm not sure the upgrades is the way to go. I think 3 different blocks is probably the way to do it. So you have 3 different heater blocks that you can use. And then basically it just supplies heat. Whether it be through some kind of like heat pipe, maybe I will do at some point. I think that's the way to go. Now the question is, do I want to do that now? Or do I want to do that next time I stream? Because that might be a lot of work. Okay, actually, first question, which is going to be the easiest to do? Energy, combustion, or like environment, like surrounding? Which is the easiest? Probably energy, right? Okay, I think I'm just going to do it that way. I'm just going to have 3 separate ones, because I don't think it'll be that hard. I don't know what I'm... Okay. We're going to speedrun this, okay? We put a timer up? No, I'm not going to time myself, because then I'll go really slowly. Okay, let's do this. So, we're going to create a energy heater. What do you call it? There's a name for this. What do you call using energy to heat? Oh my god, there's a name for this. Why can I not think of what it's called? Using energy to produce heat. There is a name for that. Electric heater, yes, but I... Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm sure there's like an actual technical name for this. When you use energy to heat up something, rather than... like, we're using electricity to heat. Maybe I am just imagining it though. Oh my god, I'm sure there is a word. There's a word. I mean, yeah, it kind of is induction. I think that is the word I was thinking of. I mean, yeah, it is induction, I would say. Okay, so this is going to be an induction heater block. And that is an induction heater. I'm going to create the block class. So create class, induction heater block, extends block, sure. Implement block entity provider. This is not going to have rotation, I don't think. I don't think that makes sense. Not right now, I guess. Anyways. Then we're going to return block entity type init dot induction heater. And we're going to return tickable block entity dot create ticker work. Lovely, nice and simple. We're going to want a use method, but for now it's not going to do anything. Hello, Killer Luke. Welcome to the stream. I am doing pretty good. We're doing some more Industria today, so that's very exciting. And we're speed running, creating an induction heater because, well, we don't really need to speed run it, but I guess it's just a bit of fun. I better not be being timed right now, by the way. I hope no one is timing me, because that would not be very nice. Why do you have an empty init method? Is that for class? Yeah, that is for class loading the registry class, basically. Extended screen hand. Well, it doesn't actually need to be a screen hand. Well, sure. It doesn't need a screen handler, but we'll keep it having a screen. Okay. We're gonna go block entity type init dot induction heater. Lovely. Now what is this gonna have? Well, I think it still makes sense to heat water, right? Like to pass around heated water rather than like there needs to be something for the heat to go through. So I think it makes sense for you to have to input water into all of these. Are you also going to add a cracking installation? Maybe. We kind of discussed this earlier, but I think we basically came to the conclusion that I'm not sure. So maybe. What? Why? Okay. What is this music? Very weird music. I don't know. So we're gonna have a wrapped fluid storage of a single fluid storage, and this is just going to be the water storage. Then we're also going to have a wrap energy storage, which is going to be the energy storage. We're going to say this dot water storage dot add tank a new synced fluid storage, which is going to be this, and then fluid constants dot buckets, and I'll just say 10 buckets as well. Then we're going to do the energy storage, and we're going to add a new thinking energy storage. We'll say this. We will say we'll say 50,000. I don't know. 0, which of these are what? Max input. Well, that will be 1,000. All right, see ya, Killer Luke. Have fun coding a robot. That sounds quite interesting, I will say. Okay, this is not music. I'm being lied to. There we go. So we're gonna have a synced storage sync. Oh, it's actually syncing. I need to rename these to get these correct, but whatever. We'll do that, and then we just return those as a list. Lovely. Let's do our usual if statement in here. So if this.world is null, blah blah. Then we're gonna do this in here, this in here, and we'll do this. Screen handler, and to get rid of that. Okay, then we're going to want our update method. This one, turn block entity update packet dot create. No, we don't want that. We do want though the initial chunk data. We're just going to use an MBT compound. Then we're going to write the MBT, and then we're going to return it. We are then going to want that write method, so we're going to write, and we're going to say this dot water storage dot write MBT. Does it not do that? It doesn't do that. Okay. So we'll just do the registry. How does this work then? Oh, this actually just returns... Right, okay. I completely forgot how you do this, but yes. So this is mbt.put, and we're going to put water storage, yeah, like that. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to want the read NBT, which is going to be exactly the same, but just like this. And this actually needs to be get list of NBT element dot compound type. Okay, like that, but we only want to do this if it actually exists. So if NBT dot contains water storage, and that needs to be NBT element dot list type. Then we want to do the exact same thing for this, like that. Okay, fantastic. It doesn't like this because yes, that's wrong. Let's create these methods to actually get the tanks as well. So we'll create public single fluid storage, get fluid provider of direction side, and we're just gonna say get storage of 0, and get water tank will just return our get fluid provider taking in null. Oh, because that needs to actually return it as sinking. Sure, we'll cast it then. Fine. Then we're going to want a public I'm getting a little bit lost now. A public energy storage, I think. Get energy provider. Sure. This should probably just use null. That's fine. Okay, good. And then, yeah, that's fine. That means that in here that should work. It does. And the only thing left is the screen handler. So let's go ahead and create that. Sends screen handler. Just that, isn't it? I think, unless I'm going crazy. Okay, we're going to want the private final production heater block entity, and the private final screen handler context, which is the context. Then we're going to want the constructor, which is the not that, which takes in yes, all of that. Thank you, Copilot. Screen handler type init dot induction. Lovely. We are truly speedrunning this right now. Perfect. We do need the other constructor, that's correct. And this also needs to be the player inventory, not just the player, which is important to note. We do also need to add the player slots, like that. Okay. And this needs to return can use with block init dot production heater, which does that. Yes, it does, I think. Yes, good. Okay, let's close that as well. Close that. Let's close this, because that will be fine once we add that client constructor. Induction heater screen handler. Okay, gonna want this kind of, but we want a block pos payload, which is the payload. And we're going to pass that into this using the player inventory.player.world.getBlockEntity payload.pos. And yeah, that's fine. Good. Then we want to close that. Now, what are we missing? Induction heater takes energy. Okay, we need to register the providers. So let's quickly go ahead and do those. So we will actually first do the fractional distillation because we do need to do those. So we will do fluid storage .sided.register for block entity, fractional distillation controller, get fluid provider, and then we also want to do fluid storage sided. How long would you say you've been working on Industria? Well, I guess it depends what you class as Industria, because it's gone through several different iterations of what I've called Industria and other things. All of which have been complete rewrites. So, officially, like, if you're talking about this specific version, like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 5 months, maybe. But yeah, something around that, I think. No, maybe that's completely wrong. I don't know. You can check the GitHub though. If I bring it up, here you go. Well, how do you find when it was created? Okay, it's not 5 months because I haven't worked on it in 4 months. Good to know. Oh wait, no. No, I actually started it 4 months ago because that's when the initial commit was. 4 months ago. So there you go, 4 months ago. That's not that bad. But if you're talking about like Industria in general, well, Industria is technically what I originally called Dirty Chemistry, which I started back in like 1.15. So if you're classing that as Industria, then like 4 years, 5 years. But I don't consider that Industria because it's like I'm doing it completely different to how I did it back then. So I don't consider that to be Industria. Now where was I? You've made me lose my train of thought. What's the next thing? Okay, we need a screen. Let's create a screen. Hello, open please. Open please. I'm just going to copy the fractional distillation because it's for now going to be exactly the same. So induction heat screen. I'm going to call this the induction underscore heater. And yeah, that's all fine. This needs to be different though. It needs to be induction heater. Boom boom. Okay, so that's that. We need to go ahead and bind that in here. Handled screens.register. No. Induction heat. Nice. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing something big, and I can't think of what it is. Have I done the block class? Let's have a look. I need to do this. So if world is not client and world.getBlockEntity at pos is instance of our induction heater block entity, then we're going to do player.openHandledScreen, else we're just going to return the server success, which I'm still not sure is actually the correct one to return, but hey, I'm doing it anyway. So we're doing that for now. That should be it. We do need to obviously do the tick method, so I guess we can do that real quick. Induction heater, here we go. So we're going to grab the food tank and also the energy storage. Now, it doesn't really matter which order we check these in. It really doesn't matter, like, at all. Probably checking the energy first makes the most sense. So if energy storage get dot amount. Actually, can I just check if it's empty? Okay, good to know. Is less than 0, then return, I guess. What I also do need actually is I need like an actual temperature, right? So I need like a private float temperature. Okay. And I also need to write that. So mbt dot float temperature and let's just separate these a little bit, and that one. Okay, then we're going to want to be able to actually get the temperature like that. Okay, if the water tank is less than a bucket, then what we're going to want to do is just slowly kind of decrease the temperature. This dot temperature. Well, actually no, because if it doesn't have a fluid, no, this should actually be the other way around. So we should check the water first. If it's less than a bucket, then it's just 0. Or maybe not 0. Well, yeah, we'll stick with 0 for now, and we'll just add, like, we'll add some number to it. We'll add like 23 or whatever. Not 23. I don't know why I said 23. Anyways, the point is, we will do if there is no energy, then this dot temperature will equal math helper dot clamp. This dot temperature negative 0.1 between 0 and 100. Now it's between 0 and 100. That's not really ideal. For now, I'll just say 0 and 500, I guess. And then yeah, that basically. And then we probably want to lose some water, I guess. For now is kind of the best way to do it, I guess. So water tank amount negative equals, okay, probably don't want a bucket. We'll just do a bottle, because a bottle is 27. Yeah. Why energy less than 0 and not less than or equal to 0? Because yeah, you're right. Okay. Less than a bucket, then the temperature is 0. This should probably just be okay, I actually kind of want to change this maximum, and I want to change the maximum to depend on the amount of water. So I want to say, like, How do I do this? I want to say like water tank dot amount. Okay, Copilot's gonna whip something up for me here. What's it come up with? Oh, we'll try it. Yeah, that might actually work. Copilot might have just actually cooked. Has it cooked? It might have. I think it's actually just done that right. I'm somewhat impressed. Then we want to update here. Anyways. And then we're going to update. Yeah, so we need to do that. And then update that. Okay. So. Let's also do here float previous temp. If previous temp is greater than 0, then we update yes, because that means that it changed to 0. Yes, that's fine. Okay. I could actually update here instead of this because it does a dirty flag rather than... Actually, I could just update. Not like that. If this temperature is greater than 0, then we update. Okay. Sure. And to be honest, I can just do that. I see no harm in doing that. Okay. I think that is everything. I'm not going to work on the screen right now. Or should I? Should I do the screen? I guess I could. I could try and do the screen real quick. So let's override init. Do that first of all, yes. Then what we want to do is we want to add a drawable. I'm going to add a new energy widget, which is going to take in the energy storage. Now the energy storage is going to be this dot handler dot. We need to be able to get the block entity, which is indeed a method I should create. That's going to be the induction heater block entity, like that. And then we need to get the energy storage. Then we need the position. Now for those, I'm actually going to copy this. Oh, it's actually like this. Okay, good to know. Get energy. What? Get energy. Go. Good. Then we want to add a fluid one as well, so I can copy that from the thermal generator. I don't have a widget for this yet, but that's fine. Basically just copy. So we'll do that in, what was that, render background, I think that was. This not handler dot get fluid. No, we're not going to do it like that. We're just going to get the fluid tank. So we're going to get a actually, I think it's synced fluid. Tank is equal this dot handler dot get block entity dot get water tank. Okay, then we're going to say tank dot get fluid. Nope, tank dot get sure that. Then the amount is tank dot amount. Then the capacity is tank dot capacity. Okay. Then we also need the hover tooltip as well. Okay. And basically gonna get the exact same thing. Yeah. Okay. So that's all of that, I believe. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But it's quite possible I am. Oh, one thing we probably should do, just to help us out a little bit, is actually draw the temperature. So what I will do is I will... Well, I'll do that in here. I'll say context.draw string. Is that not how you... Text? Draw text. It doesn't like that. Why not? So it's int boolean. It needs a boolean. Okay. Sure. False. The color 40 that's fine. Now the text is actually going to be this.handler.getBlockEntity.temperature, which needs to be a string. So string.value of. Okay. Should we try it? I'm sure I've missed something. We'll quickly go ahead and once again do the data gen though, because that's always a nice trivial thing that we can actually do. Do you guys think this will work or not? What do you guys think? I'm very curious. Induction heater. Go. Oh, I forgot the that. Go, and then also the model. For the model, I'm just going to do a simple state, at least for now. Okay. Let's run the data gen. I think I've missed something. I don't know what. So we're gonna find out. And we're gonna see. Oh. Hello. An issue of the block in it? Oh, you know what I probably did? I probably set it to be a furnace. Yeah. I did indeed. Not a great start. If I'm making silly mistakes like that, then this is probably not going to go well. We'll see. Now, oh, actually, you know, there's going to be one very, very, very big problem. And that is that I do not have any way to put a fluid in there. Because we don't have a slot to bucket it in, and I don't have pipes yet. So we actually are not going to be able to test. Mechanism doesn't exist for fabric, right? It does, but it's... it is archived, apparently. and hasn't been updated in 3 years. Okay. Does anyone know of any pipe mods for fabric? Maybe? That would be very good to know if anyone knows of any. I do not know of any. Create? I don't really want to use create. Create is just kind of a pain to work with. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna search for ECMO fabric. Okay, how are these tech mods? Essential is not a tech mod. And we need 1.21.3. Copper pipes. Maybe this will work. Oh, it's for item, not for fluids. Okay. Maybe there's another one? See, this is the problem with fabric, right? This is why everyone hates fabric, because there just aren't like any mods. No, there's no content mods. We need content mods. Let's try CurseForge. Fabric, and we're gonna go technology. Yeah, I mean, AE2 is really kind of just the only option, I guess. Oh, Ad Astra is actually on her. Or modern industrialization. We select 121.2. What do you usually set your text size to when coding? I usually set it to whatever it is right now. 16 PT. Apparently. Okay, funny thing, AE2 is not on 1.21.3. Oh, meant to be free. Okay, that might be why. Nope, it's just actually not on here. Okay. I'm just looking for a mod that adds pipes. That's it. For fabric. Come on, there's got to be one. Okay. The one mod I know is modern industrialization. I think I spelled it wrong. Mod. Oh, right, because it's this mod. But apparently it's not updated to 1.21.3. Yeah, it's like GregTech. The other one is what was it called? I think it would probably be on here. I mean, there's Ad Astra. But I don't think that's for 1.21. Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. Damn, bro. Okay. This is going to be impossible to test. Okay, in that case, there is a solution. There is a solution, and this is what I did before when I wanted to test fluids, but I didn't have any pipes. What I did was I just added fluid every tick. So we can do that. So if I go into here, basically all I need to do is just say water tank dot amount plus equals for 1.21, ideally .3, because it probably won't work for 1.21.1, although it might. Probably won't though. How do I do this actually? I need to just add a thing. I need to use transaction. Here we go, open outer, and then we're just going to say water tank dot insert. We're going to insert a fluid variant dot of. We're just going to say fluids dot water. And then I don't know how we supply a count though. Component changes dot builder. And is it a component? I don't think it's a component. Yeah, it's not. It's not a component. Oh, you pass it as a separate. Right, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot as usual. Okay, good to know. And then we do transaction.commit. And real quick, I will just do private void insert test water fluid storage tank. Oh, does it actually need to be a fine? Only reason I'm doing this, making it a method, is so I can just comment out a single line. It's easier to do. So let's run the client. And we should be able to test this. I'm really hoping we're going to be able to test this. And hopefully it will work. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it will actually work? I think it will work. I am confident in my shoddy code that it might work. It has to, right? It has to work. It would be very mean if it didn't. Okay. That's a great start. Right. That's a great start, actually. How has this happened? Can we have a look? Oh, the issue is actually with the fractional distillation tower. So tank dog get storage is 0? Oh. Yeah. That's, yes. That makes sense. I didn't think about that. Here we go. We'll do fluid constants dot bucket, and we'll just say times, I don't know, we'll say 5 buckets. It doesn't really matter once again. And do I need to do that for the controller as well or not? No, because I've already done that for the controller because I wasn't a complete and utter idiot. Lovely. Okay. Okay. I'm not counting that because that is not part of the induction heater. I'm not counting it. That's part of what we did earlier. Doesn't count. Definitely not coping. Let's see. Come on. I believe. Okay. So. Where is it? Induction heater. You ready? Let's grab wind turbine. Induction heater. Okay, it's full of water. That's a good start. That's actually a good start. Give it a wind turbine. Okay, that's not a great start. You know why that's happened? I already know why that's happened. Because I've been an idiot again. And I registered it for the fractional distillation things, but I didn't register it for the induction heater. So I should probably do that, right? So it will work after this is in. I'm confident. I also probably should have made a texture for the screen real quick, but yeah. Come on. You gotta have faith. If you have faith, it will work. And I believe it will work. Therefore, it will work. It's working! It's actually working. Look at that. And presumably, yeah, it's using water. And I assume it's using energy. It's not using as much energy as it probably should be, but that's not related, right? So that is now producing heat. I mean, the position on the screen is completely scuffed, and I should probably fix that. Let's quickly fix those so we can actually kind of see what's happening here. Where are we? Not that. Here. Okay. So, yeah, it set it to the title X position. That's not even remotely correct. X plus 80, Y plus 8, Y plus 10. Sure, we can try it. Okay, no. Let's also set this to, like, white. Okay, and we're going to set it to Y 30. Okay, good start. Next thing, we're going to move the energy widget just because that's the easiest one to move. I'm going to set this to X plus 10. And yep, that's fine. Good. Yeah, that's good. So water should be decreasing, energy should be decreasing. Obviously, I removed that. There you go, energy decreases. Temperature's still going up though, of course, because that's fine. It should probably decrease the energy by more than that. So is equal negative, we'll try negative 10. There you go, that's a little bit faster. And I assume that is actually, all right, it's decreasing by a bottle every time. So that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's got it in millibuckets. It's actually not millibuckets. So, when it says here, it says fluid amount. This should probably be fluid amount divided by fluid constants dot bucket. And cast that to a float. And then that kind of gives you, well, 9.6, but isn't great. Maybe not times by a bucket. I should maybe times by like I don't know. Let's divide by a bucket and then like times by like 100 would give me like a value I can work with. Oh no, times by 1,000. I mean, right? So yeah, there you go. That's fine. And then it shouldn't be a float here though. So this should now be an int. There you go. That's actually still not right, is it? Because it needs to be like that, I think. Yeah, there you go. No, a bucket is 81,000. Also, it's gone way past 500. This is not working in the way I intended it to. Why is that? Water amount divided by a bucket. Oh, right, that's not correct. It should be divided by 10 buckets. There you go, and it caps at 500. So hopefully when the energy gets to 0, we should see the temperature start to go down. That's the theory. I'm actually going to decrease it though by like 1 degree. Okay, should we make it go a little bit faster? Here you go. There you go. The temperature should slowly decrease down back to 0. Nice. Good, good. Actually, I think using probably like 100 is probably more reasonable anyways, actually, isn't it? But anyways, that is going to be it for this stream. We've been going for almost 3 hours, so, or 2 hours 45 minutes, so I will take that. And in the next stream we'll actually get this hooked up with the fractional distillation and probably get that working in the next stream, to be honest. The only kind of thing that's going to stop us is going to be the actual pipes, like transferring heat between the two and transferring like crude oil and stuff. So we might have to add fluid pipes in the next stream as well, which shouldn't be that hard with what I currently have. I mean, I should just be able to copy the cables for now, and it should work. So we'll see about that in the next stream, but that's going to be it for this one. So I hope everyone enjoyed, and I will see you in the next stream. So goodbye.